Hello everybody, today I'm going to be repairing my Samsung phone over here, and as you can see the screen has been destroyed. Funny story about that. It was bitten by a dog. You can see some teeth mark over there, and it just completely destroyed the screen. I did have this phone open and have a look at the electronics on the inside, the main board, and it doesn't seem to be damaged. I also switched it on and there was no problem. You could hear the sound of the things beeping on, but I think it will be remain to see if there's any problem with it, like Wi-Fi broken or the phone not phoning or speakers broken or something. But I don't think there's any problems like that. So here's the replacement screen that I ordered off eBay. It comes in this little box over here. Nicely padded and everything. I will leave a link in the description so you guys can find it if you want to repair your phone. But yes, basically what this is it is the screen, including the outside shell and the digitizer. So what's nice about this is I don't have to go and replace the screen itself from the frame, which is a bit difficult. So as well, everything over here should just plug in to the existing phone without much problems. But for now I'm just going to put this aside. And I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Interesting side note about this as well, it came with a whole bunch of tools to repair the screen with. So you've got two screwdrivers, a flat and seems to be a hexagonal type of screwdriver. Incidentally, that thing is not going to work on this phone. It came with this little blue lifter thing. I'm very happy about this because I always wanted one, and it comes with this guitar pick looking like thing, and that's also a lifter, and also a suction cup to apparently make it easy to remove the screen. But as I've seen it, I don't think I'm going to be using that. But it's nice to have this in any case. So let's just put off this aside. So the first thing that we start off with is obviously just removing this back plate. Luckily in this phone, it's easy to remove the back plate. I'm going to be using a screwdriver over here. It's a Phillips size 0 to remove all the screws on the edge over here. But yeah, first of all, of course, we need to remove the battery and the SD card. And if you have a SIM card, you can just pop that out as well. So basically the old time rule applies over here: see a screw, remove a screw. So we're just going around the perimeter and removing these screws. A nice thing to have is a neodymium magnet, or really any type of magnet to store your screws on, because these are tiny screws and they tend to fall down and get lost. So we just go around the perimeter and remove these screws. So you might be wondering how the phone got eaten by a dog in the first place. Well, it just kind of fell out of my pocket when I was doing the washing, and I didn't notice it. and the dog was kind enough to find it for me and eat it. But yeah, there's not much that you can really do about animals. They've got their mind of their own. They don't really, you know, what's important to you is not really important to them. You know, they've got very little agency of their own, especially dogs that has been specifically bred to be man's best friend. So I don't really hold a grudge against the dog. I mean, dogs destroy people's yards, costing them thousands of rands, thousands of monies every year, and it's not really that big of an issue. You know, people don't just go and kill their dogs for reasons like that, or not that I know of. So you'll see at the charges and these two screws seem to be a bit, you know, full of shit. As it turns out, there's always one screw. In this case, there's two. So the tip with this is you use a flat, push it against the screw, and you can just remove it easily like that. Or if you have maybe small pliers, you can try to wiggle them out. That should work as well. So now the next thing is right around the perimeter. You want to use the lifter to just peel it back. So you can use a normal flat or something, but I recommend just making some sort of lifter of plastic to get it out so that you don't damage the phone too much when you're doing it. So there we've got the top lifted. Here we've got the sides lifted. Alright, so now the buttons as well need to come out. So if you have a little container, you can put them inside there. There's two buttons on this. And just for reassembly's sake, notice how they get put back in. You see it's got kind of this curve over here, and that's how you're going to be putting it back in. Okay, so now we've got several plugs all around the perimeter over here. Again, I'm just going to be using this little lifter and gently lifting these things out. Have a nice little look. There's still some other parts here, so the speaker on top there does not seem to be plugged into anything. There is definitely still something holding it. It's definitely another thing. Let's just see if we can gently pull it. Yeah, so see what's basically holding it is the camera here. So we'll just get the pliers, maybe try to lift the camera out, and that worked nicely. And yes, here is the screen's plug on this side. Bit difficult to get to, but again, if you have the lifter, it just pops right off. So again, like I told you guys, there doesn't seem to be any damage onto the phone itself. There is pretty decent, you know, everything seems to be intact, but try not to touch the electronics on the inside, because the oils on your finger might make additional little resistance, and you know, it will break some stuff out there. I'm going to put that on the side. So now that you've removed that, you're going to have to try to remove these things as well. Now I actually already removed some of them, like this thing over here. It's got like a sticky pad at the back and the sticky surface over there, and you lift that out as well. I think this was one of the hard ones to remove, but basically you have to try to lift it up gingerly at maybe two ends and just pull that out. So this over here is the plug for the digitizer that is plugged in, it's glued in there. And the thing that's the most difficult for me to remove is this thing over here. I think it is a vibrator of some sort. I found it very difficult to remove this thing. So let's see if I can remove it without damaging it. So again, we're just going to try to gingerly lift it out. Yeah, I actually might have to stop the video and to pull this thing out, and then when I have it pulled out, I'll put it back on. Okay, so I did manage to remove this vibrator thingy over here. It was pretty difficult, but right in this corner you can put a small screwdriver and lift it out. This is a solid metal chassis. The more difficult thing about removing it was really this corner over here, this little pad, and I actually destroyed the side of the pad, luckily not the contacts. And how I actually got it out was using a little bit of ethanol and just putting it on here, and it softened up the glue enough so that I could lift it off using the other pad over there. So the good thing about ethanol is that it evaporates without leaving any trace, and there should be no issues like some sort of weird chemical that gets on your electronics and messes them up. So let's bring out the other screen and then repeat the process in reverse, basically. Yeah, so here we have the other screen, and the thing that I've noticed is that they did not put any glue back onto the sides of these things. So the glue over there is non-existent, but just press it back in. That tab thingy over there should hold it with relatively. To get this sticky again, we're just going to be using some of that magic sauce, the ethanol, just to get it a bit sticky again, and that should evaporate eventually and stick right back in there. Alright, but it's not a big problem if it's loose. If you want to, you can use a little bit of super glue and tack that back on there, but I don't think in this case that it will really be required, since the body basically holds everything in place in any case. This is a very good design of a phone. So yes, so basically you can see all the chips and stuff have a little recess to them, molded into the plastic to make it easier to put stuff back in. Kind of shows you where everything needs to go. Here's the rest of the phone again. So you notice that I did not pull out the front camera or the back camera. That is primarily because it will be very, very difficult to actually put those things back in place because they're using these clips. So it's not impossible. If you do want to remove them, you would have to lift that little brown lever up and then pull the camera out and then push it back in and lift it back down. That will lock that in place. But for this repair, I don't think that you would have used that, because it would be completely unnecessary. So now the thing that we want to try to put it back in is the screen. It's a bit difficult. Just make sure it clicks nicely in. just gently put it back. You'll see at the side here that little pad. Yeah, it might be actually better to stick everything back in, but I think when the screws are back, you know, everything will sit nice and flush. Let's just make sure everything fits nicely. Push the camera back a bit. The main speaker, push that in. The front facing camera, also push that in. The thing that I've noticed was the other screens, front facing camera's screen is also damaged. So very good thing that I've got this this display with the frame. Definitely does help out a lot. Okay, so I think everything's back in, the two plugs. Yeah, okay. So on the other side there should be a contact, basically just pressing down for the vibrator to hold it in place. But yeah, there isn't really like a lot of play for anything to really go catastrophically wrong. So now I'm going to put back the back panel of the phone and just click it in place. So yeah, there's click there. I don't think there's really, you know, anything to click it. Oh wait, I forgot something. I just lift it out again. The buttons, yes, the buttons. You need to put the buttons in, or else you are pretty much screwed in the sense of not being able to power it on or put volume back on. So I'll just lift that out. No, it doesn't want to go. So let's try the back side first. That's worked. Yeah, that worked nicely. So again, just note the contour that's on there and then put it back in like that. You'll see right at the edges there is two little tabs at either end to really hold it in. Yeah, that seems to be nice. These are little rubber springs, and you just try to put this back on there and press them over these tabs. So yeah, there you go, that works nicely. And press a click, right there. Yeah, well, everything seems to be in order. And now just put back the screws in. So these were on the neodymium magnet. As you can see, they've got a little bit of magnetic power still left in them. So a couple of people do say that you're not supposed to like put them on a magnet or keep them in a small jar, and that is mainly because it might disrupt something inside here using magnetics. I've been fixing computers and things for a couple of years now, and I've used magnetically tipped screws and, you know, magnets on just about any computer and never really had a big problem. I think if there would be a problem, it might be something that's close to, you know, speaker. If you use like a super high strong magnet close to the speaker, that might affect that thing somehow, or maybe even an older CRT screen will have a problem. But yeah, I don't will have problems with magnets, but I don't think there will be like, you know, issues or something if you do that with this one. So sorry if I'm sounding a bit weird. I actually have a new microphone, and the microphone is a bit weird. The sound that it records seems to be very sensitive to any type of sound, and it's kind of on a tripod next to me, and each time I bump the table I think it is causing you guys to lose your mind, so very sorry about that. I will try to maybe mount it onto a stand that will not be connected to the table in future videos. I'll try to do something about it. So there's it, all the screws are back in place, and you need to put the memory card back in there. So I really love these phones because, you know, you don't have to take the entire thing apart just to remove the battery. It is just like one little thing and you're in. But you know, they probably want to make the phones more thinner and everything. As well, for these bite marks over here, I don't really care about them all too much, because they're at the back of the phone, and I'm going to put the cover there, sealing up the back of the phone. Nobody will see that except for you guys, but you won't tell anybody. So let's power this thing up and see if it switches on. It was a little vibrate. I think the battery might be dead on it there. Okay, so the phone was dead. Basically the battery was dead. Right, it's switching on. So all of these lines that you're seeing is actually my fault. I loaded up a custom CyanogenMod ROM for it, and as you can see it is booting up now. So yeah, it's custom ROM that has been you know, as you can see, it's been rooted. That's why it's showing that long cat over there. What's it showing? It's showing a log cat over there, and which is basically like long cat. It's just a very long log that Android devices happen to have, and yeah, it's going to take a while to boot up. So I'm actually just might fast forward this video until it's booted, so we can actually see if the screen itself is working, you know, if we're touching on it and everything that works, and see if the digitizers work and the front button. Okay, so as you can see, it has booted, and you can see the battery is remaining over there, 1%. My WhatsApp's on other phones, so I'd have to fix that, but for the most part, yes, it seems that the screen is working. I need to do this fast, and let's quickly see if the digitizer works. So center button, okay, it goes back to home. Maybe open up this. Oh, this phone is so slow. Okay, so we press the back button. Yeah, that's definitely working. And let's open up the menu, and the menu button is working, so the screen side of it is actually working very well. I'm very happy. Thank you guys for watching. I will be uploading more videos. I don't know if it's going to be about cell phones, it's going to be about whatever I've got time for. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great evening.